Dallas Cowboys Game Night is presented by AT&T. Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. Miller Lite, the only beer the Cowboys. It's Miller time. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.
36-33 in a heartbreaker from AT&T Stadium on Thanksgiving afternoon. The Cowboys fall to the Las Vegas Raiders and thus fall to 7-4 on the 2021 season. An overtime loss to the Raiders, and it's their fourth loss on Thanksgiving in the last 5 years from Arlington. And we're here to break it all down for you on Cowboys Game Night from the Star in Frisco alongside Nate Newton, 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time Super Bowl champion. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Glad to be with you. And Nate, glad to be looking at this one now in the rearview mirror as the Cowboys had a short week. It was really a tight game throughout. The Cowboys never led in this ball game, but also really gave up a couple too many opportunities in the middle of it to try and get back on top.
Definitely, Kyle. They had a lot of opportunities to make some plays, but every time they would get close to making a third down or getting a field goal or getting a touchdown, here come a penalty. I think they hit 14 penalties for 166 yards at the most, at the worst time, and that cannot happen.
It was a sloppy game from both sides, and Mike McCarthy is certainly going to talk about that in his post-game press conference. Let's go back out to AT&T Stadium and hear what the head coach had to say.
Questions, David?
Mike, can you just talk about the number of big plays given up by your defense today, and also the big pass interference calls? Put all that together.
Well, the big plays, that was obviously a part of their offense approach. It has been, particularly in a number of situations. They're effective with it today. 28 penalties. I don't know what the hell you want me to say. So right what you want, I'm all for it.
The pass interference, but what could Anthony Brown have done differently?
Without seeing the replay to get in specifics, the comment by the official was he wasn't playing the ball. I think he had help with KZ, so I can't tell you specifically. He told me the flag was strong because he wasn't playing the ball.
What was the explanation on the play where Keanu Neal, it looked like he saved the ball on the fumble? Did they call it incomplete? What did they tell you in that situation there?
Well, they said that Walton, New York, overturned the play. That was communication.
So you could not challenge that play, correct?
It was a turnover. It was already reviewed. Yes.
You've lost 3 of your last 4 football games. Yeah. What have you told your football team after this?
I love them. I'm proud of the way they fight. We talked about the officials last night in the meeting. This is the history of how they officiate. We needed to do better in that area. We'll continue to work on it. Obviously, we're going through a tough patch, so we make no excuses. But I'm proud of them, and the only thing we know how to do is work. So we'll get back at it tomorrow.
Talk about the decision on CeeDee Lamb. Did he pass protocols? Y'all kept him out for precautionary reasons. What was going on?
No, he didn't make it all the way through. So
he didn't make it all the way through.
Correct. Yes.
Time of possession, Coach. Oakland, they had the advantage in that. How did that affect your defense?
Well, I think anytime the defense is on the field significantly more. I think when you look at the play distribution, probably had something to do with it. They were able to have some balance just as far as attempts, both run and pass. We were a little heavier pass than run, but obviously there was a lot of points on the board, a lot of production. That's obviously time of possession is important. We lost that as also as we did the game. So
you had 4th rain out.
When I hear a coach say that you've been warned about officials and a group the way they play, you have to be technique sound. You have to get your hands off the people. You have to get your head around. You have to anticipate that. And more importantly, you have to tackle. Coach, hey, I hate you said it, Coach, but you said it, and I had to reiterate it. If a player knows, it's on him.
So basically you're saying no excuses there. There were a ton of penalties, but you should have known that going into the game.
Oh, definitely. If a coach gives you that much information, and that's what players want, information, so they can have advantage. That was the advantage Dallas Cowboys, and they did not take advantage of it.
Very good point from Nate Newton there. We're going to hear from plenty of the Cowboys following their 36-33 loss to the Las Vegas Raiders. When we come back, we hear from Michael Gallup as he had 100 yards receiving on the night.
This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. The Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket from the Texas Lottery is your ticket for a chance to win up to $100,000. Get your Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today. Must be 18 or older to purchase a ticket. Play responsibly.
5 receptions, over 100 yards from Michael Gallup without CeeDee Lamb and without Amari Cooper for the second straight week, at least in terms of a full game. As CeeDee Lamb was ruled out prior to kickoff. Here's what Michael Gallup had to say following the 36-33 loss in overtime.
Not the result you wanted, I'm sure, but you get anything at least out of reestablishing that connection with Dak downfield that y'all have had for so long?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely get something out of it, but I mean, you know, when you don't get the dub, it just don't feel the same anymore. It's just like, but it happens. So, you know, got to bounce back. And another game on Thursday.
What's it like being part of a game where 166 yards of penalty are called against you guys?
That's tough. That is tough, especially in our own stadium. But, I mean, you playing two teams. You playing the refs and the other team, so, I mean, you just got to get better at that.
How hard is it to get into the rhythm of a game with how often? I mean, if there's 27 flags, it's just so many stoppages in play.
I mean, that's tough. I don't really know how. You know, you just gotta start making some plays. You know, can't get them canceled out. You just gotta be better.
I get that there's no such thing as an easy loss, but I mean, just with how wacky everything was out there, I mean, how tough is that to stomach?
I mean, that it gets to the point where you really don't want to walk over there and shake anybody's hand, but I mean, that's how hurt you are. But like I said, control what you can control.
What do you mean by that in terms of?
I mean, if the ref's gonna call something, they gonna call it. So it's like, I mean, you can control what you can control.
Let's take a look at some of the final offensive stats from the Cowboys in the loss. Over 430 yards, and most of that coming in the second half. But you see the rushing yards, just 64 on the ground. Nate Newton, you're not going to win a whole lot of games that way.
No, we're a two-way offense. No, we need to run and we need to pass it. We need it to almost be 60-40 pass run so we can be effective in it. And it wasn't effective. We played musical chairs, offensive lineman. Didn't like that, but, you know, and Tyron back fresh. So we got to get a little bit more stable. We need to work on ourselves, you know, and don't worry about the refs. The refs take care of themselves. You are players. You take care of yourself.
Since you brought it up, I will ask you again, what did you think about Michael Gallup's comments about how the officials handled things?
I didn't like it, but that is his opinion. He has the right to it. And Mike, just keep being a better player and getting more consistent and be the player that you know you can be.
How do you feel like the Cowboys can find a rhythm again heading into this New Orleans game, much like how they struggled to do in the first half?
Pick your offensive line and run with it. Whoever your 5 is, take them and run with it, and let's get some rhythm for Dak, because that is the guy that's going to take us over the top.
Very good point on your end. And, hey, you're a 6-time Pro Bowler for a reason. You know your stuff. And the Cowboys going to have to take some of that into week number 13 of the NFL season. They'll hope to take some of the success that Micah Parsons has had. We hear from the rookie after another big day from him when we come back with more Cowboys Game Night.
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. The Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket from the Texas Lottery is your ticket for a chance to win up to $100,000. Get your Dallas Cowboys scratch ticket today. Must be 18 or older to purchase a ticket. Play responsibly. This segment is brought to you by Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
Rolling along here on Cowboys Game Night, let's hear from Micah Parsons, the rookie that now leads the way in the entire NFL in terms of rookie sacks, as he added on another one in this one, a couple big plays late that tried to keep the Cowboys in it, but here in his own words following the loss.
Micah, do you feel this was an unusual game for you guys as far as giving up the number of big plays you did and the number of big penalties that you had to go on top of that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was very unusual. I just feel like nothing was like really on our side. And those big plays hurt, and especially like to go out like that, that just stings the pride, stings the soul, and just shows that we got a lot of things to fix up, and we got to grow from it.
What did they tell you about the roughing the passer penalty? What could you have done different?
Honestly, I hit my own teammate. I didn't even touch him. I mean, the thing is just, I mean, we playing football at the end of the day. Like, I mean, when you playing football, quarterback's going to get hit. I mean, you come outside the pocket, you're bound to get hit. So, I mean, I think we should be playing football, not tag. You know what I mean? I'm not here to support anybody and play tag like he's my best friend. I got a job to do, and I see he's outside the pocket, so I'm going out to the quarterback. I mean, like I said, nothing could go our way.
Michael, 14 penalties for each team. How does that impact the flow of the game?
I mean, when you talking about three phases and you talking about special teams, offense, and defense, obviously crucial penalties is going to hurt, and it's not very disciplined football. So on our side, I don't care what they had. We got to fix things. And, you know, as long as they fixable things, I ain't see anything out there that was, like, unfixable or unusual. It's things that we could work on ourselves and we could get better at.
So many, when you have as many penalties as you did defensively tonight, especially on third down situations, does that impact how you play defense, or do you kind of wonder what's going to be called? Or
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for my guys because I know some of them penalties was, you know, 50-50. Some would say really bad calls, but it doesn't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, football is an aggressive game. And you're going to attack the ball, and you're going to play through the ball, and you're going to play the defender. I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to come to a point in time is when you're going to let us truly play. I mean, I come out here because I love the game, I love to play. And I'm pretty sure every guy who plays out there on that field has the same mindset as me. And you don't play the game soft, and you can't play the game conservative. You got to be aggressive, you got to be dominant. And I don't want them guys to change their play style at all, because I know every week they're going to play with that play style, and I don't want them to change anything because I know they're going to be all right, and we're going to fix those details, and we're going to get better from this.
For as much of a roller coaster game as this was, and as physical as a game, as you just heard Micah Parsons say, no turnovers from either side. There was not a single takeaway from the defense at any point in this ball game. But as you look into the weeks ahead, Nate, where do you see the holes on this defense? Micah Parsons said he doesn't feel like any of it is unfixable. So how do you fix it?
You fix it by playing perfect. You can't, well, try to play perfect technique. You do the best you can, but you have to come up and tackle. You have to come up and fill your gaps. You have to cover, and you have to notice the down and distance. If it's 3rd and 10, that means you've done your job for 2 downs. Now, on 3rd and 10, you got to play perfect. You got to get your head around. You got to know the refs and how they're trying to play you so you can play your man, and you got to tackle. And if you finish the play, you will be okay.
Cowboys give up 2 100-yard receivers in Hunter Renfrow and Deshaun Jackson after not giving up a 100-yard receiver since week 5 of the season. That was back against the Patriots. When we come back, we've talked about offense, we've talked about defense. Let's hit the special teams on Cowboys Game Night.
This segment was brought to you by Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
Back here on Cowboys Game Night, where we've already talked about the positives and the negatives on both offense and on defense. So let's talk about the positives on special teams. Tony Pollard with a 100-yard kick return for a touchdown, tied for the longest return in Cowboys history. Here's what he had to say out in Arlington.
All right, first of all, you've been saying for a while you're ready to break one of these. Walk us through that play if you can, kind of what you saw from the kickoff return, and then just kind of take us all the way to the end zone.
We did a good job, before the kickoff, going over the things that they were doing that were, making it a little tricky for us. And, we did a good job adjusting on the fly, changed some things around, changed a little turnaround a little bit, and he was able to hit.
Was that a design? It looked like everything was going right, and you cut it left. Is that the actual play, or do you just see something there?
Yeah, that was the design to it, so yeah.
Everyone flow in that way, and then you got to make the cut. When they say people have angles on you, you can run through some of those angles, right?
Yeah, man. When I get in front, I try not to look back and just let my guy give him the ability to just take over and just keep running.
And I'm sure you would be even greater of a play if you guys were coming out with a W there. Just how disappointing is it to fight back like that and then just lose it at the end?
It's a tough one. It's a tough loss. We hung in there all day. did a good job fighting, staying with it, you know, came back towards the end. But, you know, we just got to do a better job executing at the beginning of the game, you know, not coming out so sluggish and having to make up for that in the second half. So we just have to do a good job playing the whole game.
In overtime, was it also designed to run it out like that? I didn't really get a good look of where you caught it. Did you have a chance for it to go in the end zone, or were you saying I'm coming out of this?
No, it was a short kick, so I had to catch it. So I really wasn't intending to, but yeah, I had to. It was a short kick, and then it was just they got the best of us on that one.
Where does this team go from here? I mean, obviously 7-4. You go to New Orleans. Do you feel like you're going to get some more guys, get the receivers back, defensive guys back? Are your confidence still high?
Yeah, I mean, nothing's changed for us. You know, we have the same confidence that we've been had. You know, we know we're still the same team. You know, got a lot of guys banged up, you know, out right now. And, you know, it's a game that we should have won. You know, we just little things that added up at the end, you know, just got to execute and make everything count.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
That was Tony Pollard with our very own Nick Eatman. Back here with Nate Newton. And Nate, we've talked about the positives now with the 100-yard kick return for Tony Pollard, but there were some negatives on the special teams unit as well. What were some of the things that stuck out to you?
You just got to make the field goals. You got to make the extra points. You got to take advantage of that. You got to block well, but Tony, he's special, man. He kept him in this game. You know, the defensive, it was Parsons. Offensive is this guy right here. He caught the ball. He ran the ball. He took Zeke's place and did a great job. So, hey, Pollard did a nice job tonight.
He did all he could to keep the Cowboys within striking distance. You could say the same thing for Brian Anger. He had huge punts, an average of 55 yards per punt in the middle of this game. So mark down week 12 of the season whenever you first get a Brian Anger mention here on Cowboys Game Night, but the punter deserves a little bit of credit. When we come back and wrap things up, we look ahead. The New Orleans Saints are on the docket for next Thursday. How do the Cowboys bounce back?
Dallas Cowboys Game Night was presented by AT&T, Reliant, and NRG Company, and by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.
Cowboys now at 7-4 following an overtime loss to the Las Vegas Raiders. A 29-yard field goal from Daniel Carlson wins it in overtime as the Raiders put up over 500 yards on offense. They give up over 430 to the Cowboys, but ultimately an early deficit of over double digits. Too much for the Cowboys to overcome on Thanksgiving. Welcome back into Cowboys Game Night here from the Globe Live Studios. Alongside Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeoman. So final thoughts on this one. We put it in the rearview mirror, and then it's the Saints on Thursday Night Football. Cowboys got to get right back after it.
Yes, sir. Come out and find out who your 5 offensive linemen are going to be, if they're healthy, and who you're going to play. Put them in there, get Dak into an early rhythm, get some type of consistency in your run game. And defense, just tackle. Be physical and just tackle, and you should be okay.
Cowboys should have an opportunity to get guys like maybe DeMarcus Lawrence, but certainly Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb possible to get back in the fold. How big is it to potentially get guys like that back into the mix as they take on the Saints?
That's everything. If we're fully loaded and cocked and ready to go, man, there's nobody's going to stop us, man, because now I know that true confidence is out there because you're better players out there.
Cowboys got to find a way to get it done. They did not do that tonight. Once again, 36-33 the final score. The Cowboys find a rhythm late, bounced all the way back, forced overtime, but ultimately it was way too much for the Cowboys to overcome completely, and missed opportunities and penalties playing a huge role in the loss to the Las Vegas Raiders. For Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeoman. Thanks again for joining us here on Cowboys Game Night. We'll see you next week. The Cowboys and the Saints on Thursday Night Football. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.